places, my body, head, and soul. Many miles away, I could start a perfect story. I find myself and find no glory. This deceptive world, giving me the sign, giving me the sign. Giving me the sign, giving me the sign.
Welcome everyone to the Sci-Fi Queens, where we explore the female characters of in science fiction, movies, TV shows, all of our characters in any depiction that we are at as women. We are there. We're going to touch on it, whether it's gaming, sci-fi, TV shows, comics. If it's out there, we're going to talk about it. If you are new to our channel, welcome. And we ask that you hit that subscribe and notification bell so that we really would appreciate it. It helps our channel to grow. If you guys want to support our channel, you can check out our merch store. The address is scrolling at the bottom of the screen for you. My name is Nita. I am your host. And my co host here, Sarah, is with us
Hi.
tonight. And we have a very special guest, Sci Fi Queen's cousin, Nicole. And we're going to be talking about the movie. You can find it free on Tubi. It's called Dead Zone. But let's hop right into it, guys. Actually, before we hop into it, Nicole, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys? I'm great. I'm happy to be back. Like, thank you for having me back.
Let's hope we don't have technical difficulties again.
I was
Because if
just
we
thinking that. I was like,
do,
Like,
if we
I don't want
do,
to be
then
hanging by myself.
It's Nicole's fault. We're gonna just blame Nicole, guys. If we get technical difficulties again, it's all her fault. She can't come back. That's it.
whatever.
But no, this movie here,
Mhm.
Dead Zone, was selected by our one and only Sarah. And we're gonna start with Nicole. What did you think? This is our main character. His name was Boss on in the movie. He was portrayed by Michael J. White. Uh, Talk to me when you found out this guy was gonna be on there.
Anything with Michael J. White, I'm in for it. Like, I'm in for anything with Mike. Like, oh my God. However, so I knew it was gonna be good, and like, I love that it incorporated like his martial arts skills. Like, and I went to when I was watching it. You know, Nita, you said, "Oh, I think that's a." I was like, "No, that's him." Because he's like a black belt, in, like 1,000 different like disciplines. Like he's just that awesome. So I was so like ready to have like to watch this to see what he would do with. So
Yeah, we looked him up, and he is a black belt, guys, in 9 different forms of martial arts. And
Overachiever.
yeah, overachiever indeed, right? So how about you, Sarah? How happy were you with your selection of Dead Zone?
I wanted to see something new, and it was different for me. And I mean, I don't really know him that well, but a movie's a movie, and I like movies, so I was
Yeah,
like, okay, we'll see how it goes.
I'm a big guys. I'm a big zombie fan, so I was definitely looking forward to some creepy crawly zombies, and we definitely got some really strange looking creatures going on there.
Yes.
Um, so Nicole, talk to me about before we move into characters, because we do have some characters that we want to really explore and talk about the overall theme of the movie, and talk to me about how you feel about it.
the overall team, I mean, I feel I felt like going into it, I thought it was gonna be like, and it is. It's like this post-apocalyptic thing, and like I think I was expecting zombies, like the way that we know them and the way that we're used to zombies. And so I I just felt like the backstory of what who the monster was, how the monster came to be,
Yeah.
what is it like that just felt very flat for me. It's like are they like we okay, he's human, they turn into they kind of explain some of it like they were human. So is he the first one of these? Like are the rest of them gonna turn into like that big monster? Like what is this? What's
What? Why? Yeah, there was a few. It was lacking in some flushing out of those. I
going
mean, you know what I mean. But it didn't
I think the
have.
plot development needed some help, right? I
Yeah,
think that the premise of the story of having this virus mutate, and of course humanity react the way humanity reacts by
we dropped
bombing
nukes.
nukes. We
Yep.
drop nukes. That is a common theme when it comes to zombies outbreaks, right? Movies and
Yeah.
television shows with zombie outbreaks, you see how the government drops nukes. This explores the combination of having this virus plus having the nuke and the side effects
And
of these nukes, and
yeah,
what
and
does
the
it
nuke not
do
being effective.
exactly, because it did nothing to they didn't do anything.
That this pocket of zombies was radiation resistant or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think I like the science of it combining, well, this is the virus and this is the nuke. What happens when you put them together? And I think that that big giant guy that was like really hard to kill was a side effect of that. But here's the problem. It's all speculation because there was never any real answer to any questions.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, no hate to the actors. They did a wonderful job as far as I'm concerned with what they were given. I think they did great. I think the fight scenes were amazing. I was completely impressed with the fight scenes. I was impressed with the action of it. But sci-fi movies are really about the exploration. Here's a problem. Here's what's happening because of the problem. This is how the problem began, and this is the
Mhm.
outcome of it. And we didn't really see too much of, well, why is it that this is happening to them? There was nothing there, and I think that that was something that was very much lacking. But that is certainly not the acting. That's not the actor's fault.
No,
No, that's
I think they
go ahead.
relied fully on the action of it all.
Yes, which is okay if you are an action star or an action
Yeah.
movie. A
Mhm.
movie maybe like The Fast and the Furious, you rely on all of that action and motion and speed
Yeah.
to give you the feel of whether or not this movie is good. However, when you are talking about um a movie that's about science, about sci-fi, whether the science is 100% true or not, um, that's what
Yeah.
sci-fi is, right? It's we depend more on other things.
Yeah.
But Sarah, what did you think of this character, Boss?
I liked him. I mean, he had some, some of the leadership skills were a little lacking, like his guys were all over the place. And it's just, I having been management in the past, and it's kind of like, get your guys in line. Why are they, you're in a dead zone. There's going to be zombies around. Why are they all kind of like going willy-nilly and like going outdoors that they shouldn't be going out? They're not staying in pairs. You know what I mean? It's
Yes,
just kind of like it's almost like the classic horror movie trope. Like go out the open front door, not up the stairs. And
yes,
and it's just like, why are you going outside? You heard something. Let me go look and see what it is. No, we don't
no,
go look. No,
yes.
you bolt the door and back away.
Yes, absolutely. Like when they separate them into teams of two, and one of them
Yeah.
walks out of where they
Yeah.
were, and then you don't see him anymore, right?
Yeah. Then
That
he
was
got
like the
ate. And it
worst
was just like,
moment. Yes,
it's
absolutely.
like,
Yes. Now Nicole has interesting feelings about Boss.
Oh,
Share them with us.
I mean, I'm because it's Michael J. White. I'm a little partial, but I feel like with Boss, I felt like I agree with Sarah to some degree. It was like you're not leading them. I feel like there was a you could tell there was history with that one character that came on to like show them the equipment
Ajax, yeah.
and
Yeah.
they in I'm sorry, I always forget like character names. But there was like that history, and again going back to our original point, that wasn't fleshed out well, and it kind of like he took over, so it's like, wait, whose point is it? Is it Boss? Is it Ajax? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? And then
Exactly, because
you come across
they gave you the impression Boss was in charge, but then
right,
they introduced Ajax as someone who's going to be taking charge of this mission. But
right,
that's not what happens.
and then
Yeah.
no, and then to add, let's add more onto that. We stumble upon this civilian, albeit as awesome as she is, but how is it that she's maneuvering better than you guys are? And you're military. Like, what's going on?
Well, and she has more common sense than they do. Like it's
She
like they was their first.
also
It was like
guys
their first day in a hot zone, and it's
she also
like
says in the movie, and we'll get to her character, but she also
yeah,
mentioned that she had 10 years of military
military.
background.
Okay.
When
Yeah,
she saves Boss, and it's
yeah,
only them two, and she's got him in the bunker strapped to an IV. She's like, how did you do that? Because she's what, a buck 10 at
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
most. And she's like, 10 years of experience teaches you how to do a few things.
Yeah.
And so she does have a military background of some
yeah.
sort. She's not a SEAL, that's for sure, and they were SEALs.
No,
Um, but they
she might have
definitely
been like she probably might have been. She might have been like
army.
force recon, like an army force recon, like a
Yeah.
sniper because she did have a sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, that's another character development that they missed on, you know.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next character for sure.
Okay.
Now, this is Ajax, played by Chad Michael. Oh, hold on, here we go. Um, and Chad Michael Collin,
Hmm.
and this is Boss, played by Michael J. White. I think their relationship should have been explored more because they
Um,
seem to have a history.
Well, they did when they were in that fight scene. When I watched it again today for the second time, I caught that a little bit more when they were talking about that. So Ajax used to date Boss's sister, and
Mhm.
he almost married her, and that
That's what
you
they
know,
give
and
you
they
to
and they were
yeah,
friends. They were friends, and then Ajax broke up with his sister, broke her heart,
yeah,
whatever, and then they didn't speak again, and then he hadn't seen him until
yeah.
he shows up for this mission.
Exactly. So, Nicole, what did you think of their friendship and their camaraderie, their relationship?
Um, I think again that relationship could have been explored better. I think that's going to be like the central theme throughout this tonight. Um, but I also feel like there was a piece of it that Ajax was kind of like, I know more than you guys, like came in kind of like haughty and like almost disrespectful to the rest of the team. And it was kind of like, I feel like Boss, as a leader, kind of missed that mark to be like, hey, I had there's the rest of this team. Like, we can't do this without a team. It's not just you and I. It was like, I just feel like he came in like, I know what you. I know this new equipment. You don't like, and it was just like, wait, this is obviously a team that's already opened. I mean,
Established, yeah,
like formed, and you're
yeah.
coming into the fold. Like, have a little bit more respect for like.
But you see,
Yes.
but see, that's another question. Was he part of that team of SEALs, or did he come in because of the circumstances they were under and introducing this new equipment. I feel like, again, we don't know what's happening because they're not giving you that information. They're relying again on the action only, and the action is
Yep.
necessary, and the action was very, very well done. But we needed context, and I feel
Yeah.
this movie was missing that. It was not. Hear me out, guys. I don't think it was a bad movie, but
No.
I think
So I
that
was
it
watching it.
lacked a few things. It definitely
Yeah.
did lack because he came in real strong, and he kind of came in almost like trying to trick everybody. Oh, look, yeah, they're really friends. And I thought that was great, but they didn't give you any information because it made it look like he was this outsider coming in, and the only one who knew him was boss. But at the same time, the way everyone behaved with him was a little too accepting. This is a complete, if he wasn't a part of the actual SEAL team, then he is a stranger, whether you know him
Mhm,
or not.
And
mhm.
then do you really
How
want a
is
stranger watching your back?
Yeah, that's not how
Exactly.
this that's not really the way we're used to seeing SEALs on television, right? The way
Right.
they present how their behavior with each other is. So it was a little bit weird, you know, to me. It was. It was a bit weird. Now these guys, I think these guys did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Um, you've got Danner played by Tarkan Daspil, um, Antoine Torbert, played by Tom, and Sinclair, played by J. Michael Weiss. I think this is really a fantastic group of, I love the fact that this SEAL team was so diverse. It was
Mhm.
very, very diverse.
Yes.
And I think that they really looked out for each other, you know,
Well, and
and
like,
there,
and when they were at the that opening scene when they're barbecuing and they're talking about the guy proposing to his girlfriend, and
yes,
they're all giving him pointers on it, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And I mean, that's more what you expect from like the SEAL team, because they live together, they share everything, they know everything about everybody. That's more what I would expect from a SEAL team.
Right.
absolutely. And how about you, Nicole? What did you get with these three gentlemen?
I feel like um there was a real I could never say that.
Camaraderie.
There you go.
Camaraderie. I got you.
um, I feel like that was there. I feel like they were more of a family. I think that scene showed them, which is if you hear like even from real, veterans and people in the military, they say like they're a family. You live with these people,
Yep.
your hands are your life are literally in their hands. Like so, yeah, it's like that bickering back and forth, like that brotherhood, and
Yeah,
so it was good to also see that throughout, also because there was a sense of like checking in with each other, like where's this one, where's that one, and so I think that came through. Like,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. How about you, uh, Sarah? What did you think when you saw those three, not just having that barbecue, but when you saw them in a mission?
Well, and they more so than Boss kind of questioned Ajax too, and that kind of they kind of had that like, who is this dude? I
mhm,
mean, I know it was the whole he's here, he has to be part of the team, but like they kind of they had a working order, and like they know who's going to take point and who's going to watch their back and who's going to do Overwatch, which Overwatch is the guy that was on the roof with the rifle and watching their backs.
mhm, mhm,
Um, but it's like they've got established positions, and and that's comfortable, and they know that like if I was there and I was part of this team, I'm like, okay, I know that the guy on Overwatch has really got my back, because we've been on missions before, he's capable, all that. And it just, I don't know, it just, they seemed more like I said, like what I would expect from a team than, and they were more family, like Nicole said,
Yeah.
that
Now,
they were
now,
buddies, pals.
one of the cast members, I forgot to add a photo of her. I had it, forgot to add. I apologize. Whitney Nielsen. She played Goodman.
Yep.
Now she is the only female in this entire movie, right?
Yes.
So Nicole, talk to me about her character.
I think, well, first of all, I want to say that I appreciate any movie where the woman saves the day. Like, let's put that out there about this movie. The
Yes.
woman, like, they lasted as long as they did because she's like, listen, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I've done. I've lost people. This is what how we need to do that. And anytime they stray from what she was saying, they fall into, excuse my language, shit. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
and so it's like, how many times? And I love the fact, like, sorry for the spoilers, guys, for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I love the fact that the woman was the last one standing. Like,
Yep.
she
Mm-hmm.
was like in the middle of one of the first ones to go. Like, not only was she the hero,
Yep.
basically, because saved, she
The
sure she
day.
saved the boss's ass. Like,
Yep.
let's call it what it is. She saved his ass, and then she's the one of the last ones standing. Her and boss. So I love that. Like, I absolutely love that. But again, I felt like she could have, that character could have, they could have explored that character more. Like, her
Yeah, a little
message
more.
really could have
Mm-hmm.
come out more.
Yeah.
Like, how, her telling them even more so, like, you, because at one point they were, when in the garage, when she's telling them the plan with the car, and they're like going back and forth on whether or not, like, I feel like if that was a male character that they stumbled upon, and he would have said, like, well, if we get in the car and came up with the same plan, everybody would have been on it. But they all looked to boss. And yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
can say that's because he was the leader, but was it really, like, or was it because it was coming out of from a female voice? Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And
That
my
is that. But go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that, like, and my favorite line from her was like, y'all, I've been here for a month and been surviving. Y'all been here less than 12 hours and you woke up the locals, you ran out of ammo, and one of your guys got hurt. Like, what the hell?
that,
You know? And she called them on their shit. I mean, literally. Like,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
like also like I liked her, but like, where's her backstory? Why were she and her brother there? Were they there before the nukes were dropped? Were they there doing something? Yeah, like Nicole. Yeah, it's like, why were they there?
and how did her brother die? Like what?
Well,
Because
her
they
brother
weren't.
died.
Yeah, because the thing is that they weren't in a house.
No,
This
a
was not.
bunker.
It was a bunker, and this was. It looked like more business space than residential area, right?
Yeah,
So what drove them there? Were they on their way to, a safe zone? What was
yeah.
happening? She said she was there an entire month. She survived whatever this creature was, but had never really seen it face to face.
Well, yeah, and then
You know,
it killed
yeah.
her. It ripped her brother's head off when after they set the car off to draw the
Yep.
zombies, and then the secondary blast with the thermite.
Hmm.
And
That's
then
right.
they because they were going with the battery. They were going to the truck to get out because they were working on an exit plan. Because I don't know if they were there and then they were trying to get out when they dropped the nukes, and then they had to make a new exit plan. That was
Exactly.
kind of one of those questions, like,
Yeah.
were they just stuck there or did they come there? I had questions, but
Yeah.
we'll
Mhm.
go
I
with
mean, how
it.
did they even survive for a month? How did they
Um,
eat for a month? Where did they get the food that they go? There was 100
well, and then
questions
that, and
going
well, and
through
that
my
bunker that she had was fully stocked with food and like they
medicine,
just
everything,
medicine,
IV.
blood, yeah, weapons, food, blood, like medicine. It's like, did they stumble on some like government safe house or like some
Like a
preppers
FEMA type of
Well,
bunkers.
thing.
I that's what they were relying heavily on the action, and we were
Yeah,
supposed to just chalk it all up to, the magic of
yeah,
movies. Like,
yeah.
Yes,
But I got
exactly.
questions. I
like
got
Yes.
questions.
But here's the thing,
oh,
guys. You can't give sci-fi fans a movie and not expect us to question this movie because that
Yeah,
is the nature of most sci-fi people that I know, right? They
yeah,
want to know what's the character development, where's the science coming from? Even if it's fake
hmm,
science, it's sci-fi language.
yeah,
Sci-fi science is different from real science, right? Real science is science that's possible, things that actually are happening or could happen. Sci-fi science is stuff that's not going to happen, but we don't want to say that because we really, really want it to happen.
yeah,
So
but
we
that's the
want
flying sci-fi.
exactly,
yeah,
and we are going to question this. We are not only about the action. Yes, we need the
yeah,
action. We need that fighting scene to look so wonderful, and no one can touch that fighting scene. Those fighting scenes were amazing. Even with the
yeah,
girl, like she was bringing it. She was
Mhm.
amazing. This beautiful woman was real. Like and I love the fact that she looked dirty and she looked like she
yeah.
hasn't
And
bathed in a month.
they didn't know until she got into the bunker
That she was
that
a good woman.
yeah, that when she pulled her gas mask off and we're like, oh shit, it's a girl,
Yeah,
you know,
and that's how I feel.
because they were like, who is
That's
this
why
guy? Are we supposed to
I think
follow him?
Nicole is right because they were quick to follow her when they thought she was a male and no one turned to boss and go, "What do we go?" They just went, "Let's go. Let's go." He knows how to stay safe.
A
He's
safe space,
spied.
yeah,
And all of a sudden she doesn't because she you realize she's female. And that's what sexist exists. Sexism
yeah,
exists, especially in the military. That's actually realistic. I think that that's
yeah.
something
That
that
was
is
a
real.
realistic side of it.
That's a realistic point of how people would behave. But
Yeah.
again, they didn't give her character enough or any of the characters enough space to breathe and grow and for us to
Yeah,
find out about them so that we can say, oh, this is what's happening and they don't know this. But no one's asking any questions either,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
which was interesting because
Hmm.
my first question would have been what Boss asked when he saved her. How did you do this? How did you learn how to do these things? Are you trained? Did they
yeah,
not? They didn't even ask. Are you trained in the military? Were you military? No one
yeah,
asked any of these questions that would be normal to ask.
yeah.
You know?
It was just, we'll just
Yeah.
go with it, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Very weird. Very, very, very weird. Um,
Well, they were
very
relying on the action to carry
That's
it,
what it
and
was.
then
They were
just
relying on the action. Absolutely. Not a bad choice in movie. I think that overall, I would give this movie a 3 out of 5.
yeah.
How
It
about
wasn't.
you, Sarah? What do you give
It
it?
was. It was definitely not a B movie, not a one, but it wasn't like a blockbuster either. It was just kind of middle of the road. And the first time I watched it, I really had a hard time staying. I had a hard time keeping my attention. Like I kept like, oh, I'm gonna play on my phone because like it was just like
So
this
from a
is
one
kind
to
of
five, five being the
yeah.
best, one being the worst, what are you gonna give it?
I would say a three because the second
I
time
give
I
it a
watched it was
3 as
better
well. How about you, Nicole?
I think I would give it a 3 also, but and I
because
wouldn't.
the action was good and that elevated it some. So
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. And again, I wouldn't be opposed to watching this movie again. It's just now I would go into it as an action movie and not so much. Uh,
Yes.
a sci-fi, yeah,
this wouldn't be sci-fi. It would be this is a cool action flick.
action
Like,
movie, yeah,
Absolutely. Now, Nicole, I do have a question for you specifically. You have mentioned that you have seen an earlier version of a movie called The Dead Zone, and you had thought that maybe this was a deviation of this movie or like a second part to it.
right,
But then
right.
while we were watching the movie, you said, "Oh no, this is very different." Talk to me about what it is it that made this one movie because I didn't see that other one either. So talk
I
to
haven't
me.
either.
Oh, okay. So the original one came out in, well, the one I'm talking about is called The Dead Zone. So
Okay.
that all in itself was a whole totally different movie. This is Dead Zone.
Correct.
Um, and so the Dead Zone has it's sci-fi, I guess, in that it's with Michael. I want to say Michael Douglas and Christopher Walken. And Christopher Walken gets into this car accident, and he wakes up with these um powers of he could see the future.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a wonderful movie. I saw it when I was like in my late teens, early 20s. Very nowhere near my sci-fi um venture
Journey. Yes.
Yeah.
or journey. But
So that sounds more like a paranormal movie than a
yeah,
Yes.
it is.
sci-fi movie.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very
Yeah.
paranormal.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was late to my godson's birthday party because I got sucked into this movie. Anyway, so when I sat down and I saw this movie, and it's very like military and like I won't even call it zombie because that was not a zombie, but this creature that they're chasing. I was like, okay, no, it's totally different.
Different.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to take a bit of a commercial break, and then we're
Okay.
going to come back, and Sarah is going to give us a new female scientist. Before we go into the female sentences, I just want to know, guys, I'm always going to play his commercial, Jake's commercial about his business,
Hmm.
because he has not just been an inspiration and was the one who came up with the concept of Sci-Fi Queens, but has taught me how to make so many things, thumbnails and things like that that are so necessary when you have a podcast. Our new little back screen was inspired by things that he taught me to do. Yeah, I'm always gonna give him his doing this show for. He's an honorary sci-fi queen always.
Oh
Um,
yes.
but here we go. Sarah, take it away.
All right. This week I picked Miriam Gordet. Miriam's life story is remarkable. She is the daughter of Haitian immigrants. She and her sisters were raised by a single mother who never had the opportunity to attend college. As a young single woman independently pursuing a college degree, she endured staggering and personal challenges. She lived on her own, supported herself, and financed her own education. To do so, she worked at least one full-time job and oftentimes even more than that. She was pregnant, lacked secure housing, and almost always perched on the brink of financial disaster. Miriam faced roadblocks that would have stopped most of us in our tracks, but she had the courage to persevere and excel. Through Though it would be easy for someone in her shoes to be angry or frustrated with the world, she is upbeat and positive and yet authentic. Her life experiences positioned her to be an empathic mentor and an inspiration to everyone she knows. And since graduating, Miriam has been actively involved as a mentor. In this role, she has had a profound and expansive effect on students' views regarding the world of science and scientists. Miriam often arrives to meet with students with her daughter in tow. The all too uncommon appearance of a mother with a child in a science classroom immediately captures the attention of the students. Miriam openly shares her story and describes the weighty challenges she faced as an undergraduate student. She explains how, with the help of many mentors, she navigated her way through her bachelor's and a Master's of Science, and then on to a PhD program. She has also helped with some of the program efforts at San Francisco State, serving as a mentor for their leads students who are enrolled in a service learning course in which students partner with faculty to create culturally inclusive materials for their classes. Miriam was a near peer mentor with a personal story of perseverance in the sciences. Her presence and her narrative helped to show that students with similar backgrounds can be successful. She is an amazing role model for students who never imagined that someone who looks like, talks like, and acts like them could be a world class scientist. Students are captivated and inspired by Miriam's presence. In addition to her visits to campuses, she has served as a mentor for a number of student training programs. She has also excuse me, been busy building partnerships for high school students. She has been developing a program whereby graduate students and doctoral fellows meet with high school students to discuss opportunities in STEM and give chalk talks regarding their current research. With the aim of diversifying the sciences, Miriam is targeting these efforts at high schools which serve students from traditionally underrepresented groups. It's a win-win. The high school students see STEM role models and meet potential mentors, and the graduate students practice speaking about their research to an audience. Miriam's grassroots mentoring efforts aimed at broadening participation in science are innovative, effective, inclusive, and amazing. Miriam's passion is to change the face of science. She is helping countless students, mostly from underrepresented minority backgrounds, navigate this largely uncharted territory. Her presence and her insights are tremendously inspirational to those students and provide a beacon for them to follow. To quote Miriam directly, she said, I believe in creating a safe space for scientists of all backgrounds to thrive. Throughout graduate school, I organized a variety of outreach events to connect diverse students to science. I also co-founded the University of California, San Francisco's Black Excellence in STEM, called B STEM, a student organization servicing the Black graduate students of University of California. She is currently the lead scientist specializing in platform developing and drug discovery for Tipping Point Biosciences. She is amazing.
Wow. And we did a whole show on STEM. So
Yeah,
she is amazing. And we will
yeah,
always support here at Sci-Fi Queens the STEM program because
yep,
it's definitely something that is so important for children to learn science, to learn mathematics, to learn technology and
yep.
innovation.
And
Yeah.
what I liked so much about her was that she's giving back and being a mentor and drawing others into the sciences.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she's right that the sciences are predominantly, I'm going to say it, Caucasian, and trying to get different minorities to want to be and see that they can be successful is important. I mean,
Yes.
we need that because
Yeah. I mean, you have a
sometimes,
daughter in a STEM program, so you know
yeah, and
firsthand
right,
how great it has been for her.
yeah, it's been way better than a regular school. The STEM school is amazing.
Yeah.
She's
If you guys
she's
haven't seen our STEM, our it's it's our episode for the International
oh,
Women and
women and
Girls
girls, yeah,
in Science episode, and we talk about STEM. And her daughter, Sarah's daughter, actually comes on and talks,
yeah.
and she's a
Well,
young
like,
girl. So yeah,
we went for a car ride this afternoon, and even when we were in the car, she used something that she learned in school about the gravitational force, and that when we're going, because she just learned that when we used to call them wee hills, when you're driving through the country and you get to the top and then you go wee down, because they're so high. Um, and she said that her one of her her physics teacher actually told her that when you get to the top and then you peak like that, you actually don't feel gravity for a minute. And that's why it's that sensation that your stomach is like, ooh, it makes your stomach feel funny because you actually don't feel gravity for a minute for like it's like only like a second. But
Mhm.
then and then
It's
you
enough for
keep
you to
thinking,
feel it though.
right. And yeah, and then and and we were driving in the country on one of those roads, and she's like, "Oh," and then I actually put the car in neutral, and we're coasting down a big hill, and she's like, "Okay," so I said, "And now we're just free," and she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "The engine's not working. I mean, it's working, but it's not driving the car. Gravity's driving the car and pulling us down the hill," and she's like, "Oh," and then she could feel the car accelerate on its own, and like it's it's good because we can because she's in the STEM program, we can take those things and apply those to real world situations. And she's more apt to, because of the things that she's learning at school, she's more apt to connect the dots on her own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this young lady that you've brought forward really opens the doors for
Hmm.
minorities and people who look like her,
Right.
and go, wait, if she can do sciencey stuff, if she can be
Yeah,
into science, so
and
can I.
she's got a master's, a bachelor's, and a PhD. And she's a lead scientist for a corporation. Like,
Yeah.
and she's not that old. I couldn't find her exact birthday, but she finished her PhD um, in the 2010s, sometime in the last 10 years. So I mean, she's really not that old.
No, she doesn't.
Um,
She looks very young. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. But Sarah, that was an excellent choice for sure. We are going to move on to our next segment, which I have been itching. Guys, I got a surprise for you. Okay, so Nicole can tell you how excited I was when I got this. Here, let's bring it up, this comic, because I wanted to bring this up as a book recommendation, but it wasn't arriving, and then it said it arrived, but I didn't get it, and I'm like, well, what did they do with it? And it happens that my very nice neighbor picked up the book because they left it at the door and then gave it to us like the next day.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was so sad at first because I said, oh no, they said they delivered and they didn't, and I won't get the next one if I reorder it in time to recommend it. And I was very excited to read this, called I Drive for Cerber. And it is a comic, okay? And comic books are books.
Yes, they
So
are.
here in sci-fi book recommendation, we are going to recommend comics, graphic novels, books, whether they're sci-fi or fantasy, or in the case of I Drive for Server, supernatural.
Well, did you know that comic books have the same number of words per page as a
Mhm.
regular book, and that
Yeah.
like Leah has dyslexia, so comic books are easier for her to read because they're divided up into frames.
Yes,
And they
I
absolutely.
actually recommend that. Yeah.
I didn't
Go
know
ahead.
that was a word count. Cool to
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
Yeah. And now I Drive for Server is a fantastic book. First of all, the lead is a person of color. He's a gentleman of color. I love that already. It was written by Sean Balboa. I'm probably butchering his name. I'm sorry, buddy. Um, I have here his web
Kickstarter.
address and his Kickstarter, because the part two is part of the Kickstarter. So guys, if you're interested in supporting an indie comic, independent comic guy, go to his website, check out his stuff. He's got great comics there, and consider supporting. And it's, a minimal. There's amounts for different, you can support him in
Levels,
different
yeah.
amounts, different levels. So it's really fantastic. I checked out the Kickstarter. And I Drive for Service, this a great fantastic guy who kind of hits a hard time, work wise, and he's trying to look for work, and he can't drive for like Uber or Lyft because of some situation, but it says it in the comic. I don't want to give it all away, but he
Hmm.
drives for this supernatural server, this supernatural taxi, and all of
Hmm.
his clients are supernatural people. And there's even a ghost involved. Yes, and they're kind of like they're these creatures almost, so it's not
Hmm.
necessarily science fiction, but if you like
Oh no.
supernatural or fiction or fantasy, this is something that you would enjoy. And I really think you guys should go check it out. It is so good, so much fun. I have to say that the individual who I ordered it from, Sean, his packaging was exceptional. And guys, you know how I feel about packaging. If you see my unboxings, packaging matters, because when you get something, you want it to be packaged well so that it's not damaged, right? This
Right.
is so beautiful. The paper is thick, it's shiny, it's glossy. It's not that, oh, ink all over my fingers kind of paper. It's
Oh,
really quality material that you're getting. But the storyline is fantastic. And I can't wait for the second one to come out, which is what the Kickstarter is for, so that they can get this one in print and get it out there. So check out his Kickstarter. Um, if you are into supporting indie comics, I got actually some more sci-fi comics that are coming to me that I've ordered that I am going to be sharing with you guys. So I am super excited about that. Definitely. You know, and I'm very excited about this. I can't wait for the second part because it really leaves you in a cliffhanger, and I think that we've all have gotten used to um binge watching stuff, and
yeah,
or binge reading.
yeah,
So, and I can't
Mhm.
do that because I don't have the second one yet, guys. So we gotta
yeah.
support him so that we can get the second one. But it was actually pretty fantastic, this book.
So is
uh,
is is Cerber a reference to Cerberus?
Cerber is like Uber. Cerber.
Yeah, but for supernatural, because
Yeah.
Cerberus is well, it's Hades' dog, the three-headed dog.
I don't know. It might be. I know that they're like cryptics,
Yeah,
and supernatural characters that come in,
yeah,
into play. But I don't know if it's more of a play on word on Uber server,
yeah,
or if it's that could be that. I mean, it's
yeah.
very real possible. But yeah, it is really a good comic. I think Leah will like it actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah, definitely. But we're gonna go on to our podcast recommendation segment.
Recommendations.
I love the music. So we're gonna start with my buddy Jace. Okay, always start with my buddy Jace. His VHS channel takes you through a nostalgic journey with live streams and video clips. So go check him out and support him. You're also going to find him on Pop Culture Spread. They give you the movie and streaming news every Friday and Saturday. Him and my buddy Rick over here with a little bit of an Australian twist to it. Then we have our Captain's Quadrant, where Jace again and Jason and my buddy Joe talk about
Yep.
all things Star Trek. They talk Star Trek, they do interviews. And it is now Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
This was after our show.
After our show, that's right. And then Joe also has the council room every Tuesday at 8 p.m. They talk about Doctor Who, all things Doctor Who, from every single one of them, from the first one to the current one, all things Doctor Who. We have the Phoenix sisters. They do a lot of the cosplay podcasts. They do a lot of kind of geeky kind of materials, and they're great. They have great context. They also have they've even done charity events to
Yeah.
support bringing comic books to children in cancer hospitals or in cancer treatment centers. So they do
Mhm.
fantastic work. Definitely check out their podcast, Phoenix Sisters. And we've got the Hit or Miss and Silver Screen podcast. And I was at the Hit or Miss. It hasn't been released yet, but as soon as they tell me that it's been released, it's an audio podcast. I'll let you guys know. And we did a review of Star Trek Nemesis. So this is they do a lot of reviews of the Star Trek movies. In Silver Screen, they do other kind of reviews of different movies where we're going to be reviewing on April 28th, the original Planet of the Apes. If you guys don't
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I am a big Planet of the Apes fan. I love the movies. Then we have Earth Station Trek. They do all things Star Trek, but they also do all of the Star Trek spirits and wines. They review those
Mhm.
too as well. They do a
Gotta have that
fantastic.
Romulan ale.
That's right. That's right. And JJ Comics and stuff. I love this guy. He does his podcast is all about supporting indie comics. They do
Is that where you
interviews.
heard about the other one?
Yes, absolutely. Not the one that I reviewed today. I actually
Mhm.
sent him over to him because I'm like, I don't know if you can book him, but would love to see an interview with him. Um, but the one that I did order a sci-fi comic from that I'm waiting for it to come. That'll be our now hopefully for our next show. Um
Mhm.
I definitely heard from him. JJ Comic does amazing work with indie comics and promoting them and interviews and talks about all things indie comics, even how AI is affecting indie comics because indie
Well,
comics
yeah.
also use artists to do the drawing. It's not always the same person who's writing the story who's doing the drawing of the artist,
Yeah.
which just, I learned that from him. I was not aware of that. I thought they did everything, you know um but yeah, he does a great job in promoting them. He's really fantastic. And then we got the Ooze Spiel production. They love to do dramatic readings and audio dramas of Doctor Who's. They have
Ooh.
really good stuff on there. So if you guys get a chance, go check out the Ooze Sphere production.
Is that where Katie was reading for?
Yes, Katie was reading
Okay.
and was on there. Then we have Three Fries Short Podcast. I love the name of this podcast. They do all things Stargate. Every Stargate
Okay.
series, movies, everything. These ladies talk about it and they do an amazing job. So definitely check out these ladies. They do interviews with actors of Stargate as well. Um, they're fantastic. So definitely go check them out. And then our next show will be April 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as always. And we're going to be talking about the badass women of Star Trek Discovery. And Kristen, who's been here before, is going to be joining us. And we're going to have yet another honorary sci fi queen.
Yes.
Flip is going to join us. And we're going to talk about Discovery, the ladies of Discovery, the
Hmm.
diversity in Discovery. I mean, Discovery, this is his last season. So we are going to deep dive into Discovery
Yeah.
and all the wonderful representation that Discovery has to offer. So we hope that you guys can join us on April 26th. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But before we say goodnight to everyone, Nicole, do you have anything that you want to say? Anything you want to add to?
Just thank you for having me again, ladies. It was fun. Thank you for being a part of my sci-fi journey.
Journey. Yeah. We'll
You know,
bring you into the fold. We'll bring you in.
Bring you
I
in.
feel it. I feel it.
Thank
I feel it.
you.
Um, just I, can't wait to be on again. If
And Sarah, anything last minute you want to share with us?
I am just glad there was no technical difficulties tonight.
Yes, absolutely. I still blame Nicole though.
Mm, yeah.
what she's like my whole life. This is the abuse I've put up with. I'm just saying.
But thank you guys so much for joining us. And we will catch you on April 26th. Good night.
Don't
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our new channel so that you can get notified when new videos come up.